I believe it's crucially important to recognize that no church can be a church alone, just as no Christian can be a Christian alone. We need each other's gifts. And so, looking at what my church doesn't have, or what other churches have in greater abundance, what we need to receive, I can think of a number of things that I really treasure in other people's tradition. I look, for example, at those churches that come out of the Anabaptist tradition, and although we have a theological disagreement about infant baptism, I look at the depth of seriousness about commitment, about the sense that discipleship is an adult choice involving the whole person, and I'm just very grateful to be reminded of that by another church, holding up before me a sign of what ought to be in every Christian's commitment to discipleship. I look again at so many of the free churches and think that we are still in the Church of England sometimes a bit, what should I say, a bit hemmed in by the high expectations around hierarchy. I believe in bishops, priests and deacons. I would, wouldn't I? But I believe that also it's important that we don't take that too seriously, that we see ourselves as fellow learners, again, fellow disciples with all those around us. Some other churches have managed that better than we have with the ordained ministry. We need to listen to that and absorb that. And then there is, very personally for me, in my own contact over many years with the Roman Catholic and Eastern Christian traditions, a sense of the immense enrichment and diversity in time and space that these churches offer, the deep seriousness and wisdom about the life of prayer in particular, which they have evolved over the years, that wisdom which has been matured in the context of contemplative community. And I feel that so often our life in the modern Western church is very two-dimensional by contrast. Sometimes when I've visited Orthodox monasteries or contemplative Roman Catholic monasteries, I felt that it's a little bit like somebody struggling through the first year of GCSEs, watching people who are in the middle of their A-levels. That these are people who really have gone so much deeper, so much further, and to whom we need to listen with so much more attention. So, God be praised, really, that we have such a diverse Christian world to listen to and attend to. And I'm deeply grateful for the chances we have locally of experiencing the full richness of that diversity.
We're also considering how the ecumenical movement in this country might move forward. Could you tell us how you think it is going to move forward and how you would really ideally like it to move forward?
Most people reflecting on the ecumenical scene in this country are conscious, I think, that institutionally it's just a little bit sclerotic. Institutionally it's just a little bit muscle-bound. And most people who think seriously and pray seriously about it feel that the energy and the life is at the local level. It's at people learning to meet and pray in local situations and respond to the challenges of a community together. Now, I don't want to underrate or undersell the importance of working at the institutional level. It's a serious matter. We do need to overcome our institutional divisions by God's help at some point, so that we can present a united, coherent witness. But meanwhile, while all that seems at times to run into bureaucratic sands, that's no alibi for not getting together in prayer, above all. And where I see ecumenism working most effectively is, not surprisingly, where people are actually praying together, and praying together about how they understand and how they respond to the pressures of the community that they live in together. So my hope is that people will actually want to work harder at local cells of the body of Christ. Work harder at a sustained, intentional meeting together for prayer, not just a couple of polite events in the Week of Prayer for Christian Unity. Something more regular and something deeper. And I think we may very well learn from the Society of Friends something about the significance of just being silent together, waiting on God very regularly. If people from different confessions and traditions were able to do that more intensely and, as I say, more intentionally, more regularly, then what would happen would be, I think, we would all grow simply in maturity as Christians. And if our theology generally is right, then growing in maturity as Christians is bound to mean growing closer to one another. And who knows, then some of the tangles and brick walls at other levels may turn out not to be quite so difficult after all.